Welcome to our course on digital marketing tools. I am very excited about this course because we're going to be going through 6 of some of the best tools in the marketing space so that you can supercharge your business online. We'll cover SEMrush, which is a fantastic competitive intelligence tool that allows you to zero in on exactly what your competitors are doing in search marketing. It covers organic search, paid search, keyword analysis, rank tracking, and backlinks. It is really unparalleled, I think, in this space, and it will allow you to jump straight to the front of the line to see what your competitors have done after lots of trial and error. We'll also be covering Ahrefs, which is, I think, the very best tool for inspecting competitor backlinks in the business. Backlinks are citations to a particular website which act as a sort of vote as far as search engines are concerned. There's other great stuff such as Content Explorer, which helps you find really viral articles in your space, as well as Keyword Explorer 2. We'll also be covering Ahrefs, which is a really great tool for supercharging your Facebook ads. You'll be able to programmatically define how you want your ads to appear to your audience. You'll be able to do stuff automatically, such as increase the ad spend on high-performing ads, decrease the ad spend on low-performing ads, or pause them altogether. You can split test dozens of different ad types to see what offers the most return on investment, etc. The final 3 tools all deal in some respect with finding email addresses. The first one we're going to look at is RocketReach. I think RocketReach provides a really great service. It's a little more pricey than some of the others, but the results are fantastic. You can punch in someone's name, and right away you're very likely to see, or at least in my experience, email addresses for that person. However, if you're on a shoestring budget, Hunter.io and VoilaNorbert.com very often do the job just as well at a cheaper price. I use all 3. I think that very often you're going to find an email that just cannot be found in 1 or 2, and then you find it on the 3rd one. So on the higher end, RocketReach is great. On the budget end, VoilaNorbert and Hunter both are great options. I really hope you get a ton of value from this course. We'll be doing over-the-shoulder views into how these tools work and how you can use them to your advantage. Thank you very much and enjoy the course. In this lecture, we'll be covering SEMrush. SEM stands for Search Engine Marketing. This tool is my absolute favorite for honing in on what exactly your competitors are doing with both paid and organic search. So let's go ahead, SEMrush.com. Okay, from this section, you can put in any competitor or any website that you want to look into right here at the top. I'm going to put in HubSpot.com. They're a huge marketing company. They have a ton of paid and free marketing that they're doing on search. So let's walk through this treasure trove of information. Okay, right here on this first section, we see that there are about 2 million different visitors coming to HubSpot every single month. That is across about 842,000 different keywords that they're ranking for on search engines for free. Of course, not all search terms are created equal. The more buyer intent you have, the more higher value products someone might be searching for, all relate to how valuable these keywords are and the traffic you get from them. So right below keywords, we see the traffic cost, which means for SEMrush, how much it would take to buy that same traffic coming from the same keywords if you paid for Google Ads. We see that that comes to $8 million every single month that HubSpot is getting for free. To the right, we see their paid search. They have 7.9 thousand people coming from paid traffic across 473 keywords with an estimated traffic cost of about $67,000 per month. So this is really interesting. This tells us that HubSpot does like to wade into paid search, but not nearly to the extent they're trying to target free Google traffic. You can click on any of these things, which we'll get to in a bit if you want to drill down, but I also want to take you through the other huge amounts of data that SEMrush is showing us. They have a great backlink catalog. They even have Google display ads. Google display ads are a little different from the paid search ads you see. Sometimes a website owner will want to monetize his or her site, and they'll put banner ads that come from Google that we can see HubSpot is taking advantage of. So they have 190 total detected display ads. If you scroll down, you can see this really cool graph that charts the rise, or as the case may be, the fall, or even the stability of their marketing efforts. We barely see the paid showing up because the organic, which is the free search engine traffic, is just so much more. But to the left, we can see a circular graph and chart of, okay, where is this traffic coming from? We see both in paid and organic. It's mostly coming from the US, but then it starts to diverge. They're paying for a lot of traffic in India. That's their second most commonly targeted paid section. Scrolling down further, we can see the top organic, which again is free, keywords that they rank for. We see the volume, the position, how much it would cost to buy that, etc. HubSpot being number one isn't that much of a surprise, but ranking detected in the first place for advertisement, that's huge. Motivational quotes, it gets a ton of traffic, but not nearly the same cost per click. If we scroll down, we can see competitors that we might not even know existed in our niche. This is going to look at how many keywords in common the biggest competitors have with HubSpot. So right away, you see popular startups that are working in this marketing space. Buffer, they do a ton of great content. They're ranking for a ton of stuff. Social Media Examiner, Kissmetrics, all these people are doing very similar stuff with HubSpot, and as a consequence, they have a lot of keywords in common. If you click on them, you can be taken to a similar page to drill down onto their keywords, their paid search, their organic search, etc. Scrolling down further, it's going to tell you how much of this traffic is branded and how much is non-branded. And what that means is it's not so interesting to some people if your competitor ranks for their own branded term, in this case, HubSpot and similar. But what this is telling us is the vast majority of traffic that they get, over 91%, is from non-branded searches. So whereas a branded search might be HubSpot or HubSpot CRM, a non-branded search term might be free CRM or CRM software. This helps you drill down because you're probably never going to want to try to rank for HubSpot unless you're doing one of those articles like, how do we compare to HubSpot? But for the most part, you're probably going to want to be competing on the actual non-branded terms such as free CRM and the like. Scrolling down, we keep going on with this bird's eye view. We have their top paid keywords, the biggest competitors that they have in paid. So we see, okay, Zoho is really going at it. They have a lot of keywords in common. Scrolling down further for this bird's eye view, we have a sample of the ads they're running, the backlinks, the anchor text that is the most common. What an anchor text is that blue link. The text in that blue link is different from the URL a lot of the time. This shows us how HubSpot is being cited. Then their biggest referring domains. We've got publishers, more text ads. Okay, now let's really get into the nitty-gritty. So we're going to scroll back up. We're going to click on this first organic search, 2 million different people every month, and we're going to drill down. Here we have an expanded graph showing the rise of HubSpot in organic rankings. We can see that not too long ago, they weren't doing nearly as well as they're doing now. This gives you a lot of hope. In a short amount of time, you can see a lot of success in this niche. let's look at January 15. They were getting about 250,000 in terms of traffic. But today, almost 2 million, right? So they've gone up by, say, 8.5 times the amount of traffic they're getting in just a few short years. If you scroll down, you really get a good view as to where this traffic is coming from. You can sort it by the volume, the difficulty it would take to rank, the cost, etc. My two favorite things to sort by is the default traffic percentage, which tells you how much of the traffic out of all of your target domain, in this case HubSpot, is coming from a particular term. My favorite thing to sort by is actually the cost percentage, so I'm going to click that. What this tells us is if you were paying for this traffic, if you bought ads on these keywords and got these people to come through the paid ads section of Google, how much would that cost? And when you combine that with how much traffic you're getting, how valuable is this particular traffic in terms of both cost and volume to this target domain's business? So sorting by that, we see the biggest thing is HubSpot. And a ton of people, 135,000 people a month are searching for HubSpot. And as people compete to also pay for ads on the HubSpot term, you'll see that that's actually quite valuable. It's $5.59 to buy an ad on Google for this term. So a ton of traffic, a decent cost per click, that's why this is first. The second one, a non-branded term, actually has less of a volume. Less people are searching for advertisement than HubSpot. So you've really made it at that point. It has a similar cost per click, $5.47, but we see a much, much lower cost percentage is coming from this. Why? That has to do with the volume, it has to do with the cost per click, etc. There's a lot of competition, there's way more results for advertisement. As we start going lower down the list, we start getting some really good ideas for how we might want to position ourselves as a HubSpot competitor. CRM. Great term, obviously, if you have a CRM. Looking at the keyword difficulty, though, we see that's an 89. So there's only 100 spots. That is pretty high up there. That is pretty difficult. If we start going down, we see, okay, follow-up email. That's only about a 60. That is much easier to rank for. We see the CPC is actually higher. People want to buy advertising related to this follow-up email stuff. People are selling tools, services, etc. that help integrate with your follow-up email workflow. If you keep scrolling, you'll see a whole bunch of these great terms that you can start integrating into your content calendar if you want to compete with HubSpot for these terms. Scroll down more, and you see we're only on page 1 out of over 8,000. So you have a ton of stuff to work with. Let's go back and see the same type of data for their paid search campaigns. Okay, we're going to click the 7.9 thousand. That refers to the volume of traffic that they're getting. And what this is going to let us do, it's actually really cool. We're going to see exactly what they're putting on particular ads for particular keywords. All right, the first is HubSpot. They don't want their competitors being the only people to put ads on HubSpot. They want to get in on that action too. If you go where it says ad, if you hover over this, you can actually see the exact ad they use for this precise keyword. We see the title, we see the URL, and we see the ad copy. There is a ton of what's called split testing done to perfect these ads. Changing one word, changing punctuation. All these things are done dozens of times, sometimes hundreds or more times, to get the highest converting ad copy and the highest converting keywords. But you're going to cut straight to the end of the line. You're not going to be trying what they tried to do 2 years ago and failed at. You're going to see their best stuff, their latest, most cutting edge stuff right here, right with the help of SEMrush, so that you can get, hopefully, the fruits of their labor. After trying all those different dozens of variations, you're going to see what works best for them, because if you do a similar thing, if you're offering a similar product, this will hopefully work best for you too. You can see all this stuff, free CRM, etc. I think this is a really great way to save money on marketing agencies by cutting out all of that early work, cutting straight to the end of the line, and getting the best stuff. Obviously, you'll want to change the copy a little bit to reflect your brand and what you're selling. If we go back again, we can see there's a different category for display advertising. So if we click on that, we can see some of their banner ads that they're posting across the web. So if we scroll, we see the publishers that they're working with. So blackberryseeker.com, they've got 2 ads over there. Great. Let's click on that. These are the type of ads that you see on this blackberryseeker.com. We have the time seen, so are they coming back for more? Did they like their campaign and did they want to do it again? We see the advertiser, we see the days seen. This is going to give you a good insight as to whether or not this is the type of neighborhood you want to join. Is it more than HubSpot? Is it other people in your niche, etc.? So if we go back, we're going back to, of course, the HubSpot section of this display advertising. We'll see a breakdown by country, only 52% in the US. A lot of times other countries are cheaper in terms of how much it costs, although that's certainly not always the case. And you just might, in general, want to target local services elsewhere. You can see a breakdown of display ads by device. Only 20% saw these ads on the desktop. More even on Apple tablets than all the different desktop types. We see the publisher, and here, sample media ads. This is really cool. They spent a ton of time and a ton of work coming up with really cool banner ads, and you're going to see all of what they're doing that SEMrush detected so that you can make similar stuff for your similar service. Want free marketing advice? It's in orange. I'm sure they've done a ton of testing to show that orange converts better than red, for example. Book a free assessment in a different color. It looks like a button. If you click on it, it expands it. It's saying when this was first seen, when this was last seen, how many days it was on there, the target URL, which you can of course go to and see their landing page. We're seeing the different domains that they published this ad on. This is a ton of great information. They are spending a ton of money to get this ad perfected, and you're cutting right to the end of the line to see what has been working best for them. There's also a backlink finder, so let's go back and check that out. A ton of backlinks, over 18 million. If you click on that, what we're going to get is a list of all the different websites that are linking out to HubSpot.com. We see there's over 75,000 referring domains, over 66,000 referring IPs. These help you to determine whether or not this is a whole bunch of links from a few people or the opposite, or somewhere in between. 97% of the links are followed links. That refers to whether or not these links carry authority or an endorsement as far as the Google algorithm is concerned. If you scroll down, you can see the anchor text of the link. You can see a whole bunch of good data. The first time the link was seen, the last time it was seen. If you're trying to do what's called a disavow file, which is when you tell Google, hey, we don't want this person's link to matter in terms of your assessment of our site. This is the case if you're getting a bunch of really spammy links from, say, gambling or prescription drugs, etc. You can easily add links that you don't want to a disavow log for easy submission to Google. If you scroll down more, you see a ton of links, a ton of good data about these links. You see when a link was lost. If someone formerly linked to you and just removed that link, hey, that might be a good time to reach out and say, why not link to us again? If you see a link was lost recently, you can investigate that. Why did you lose the link? Did the person delete that whole page? Did they just remove you? If it's a competitor, you can explore how you can get your link hopefully to replace the lost link of a competitor, etc. SEMrush can do a whole lot more than just drill down on a single competitor. They have a fantastic selection of data that pertain to keywords as a whole. So let's go on over to this top section, put in a keyword that we think is valuable. Let's just use cloud storage. Because you're not entering a URL, SEMrush automatically detects that this is a keyword request. If you scroll down, you're going to see a whole bunch of great stuff. You're going to see other suggested keywords that include the keyword that you used. So first is obviously cloud storage, and it has the volume and the cost per click for that. But then we see, for example, Google Cloud Storage. That is a lot cheaper. If you want to buy an ad, you might very well consider, if you're already going to buy an ad on the term cloud storage, also buying an ad on Google Cloud Storage. You're probably going to get a very similar audience, and yet the term is going to be drastically cheaper to bid on. You can view a full report and get a whole bunch of other ideas. Related keywords is a similar section. It does not require that your phrase is actually in the suggested keywords, so you won't just be limiting yourself to those keywords that somewhere include cloud storage. You see here online storage is suggested, etc. If you scroll down, you're going to see what it looks like in the organic search results, which is what you see when you just Google the term. You're also going to see some great ad copy. So Dropbox, they're a cloud storage provider. They're bidding. No big surprise, but you can see exactly how they're trying to make their pitch with this ad copy. If you scroll down, you can see ad history, etc. But let's go back up because we're going to want to drill down on some of this. Let's do related keywords. That's going to include stuff that does match the phrase, but it won't have to. Here this is sorted by the related percentage. So online storage is very similar to cloud storage, and that's why this is listed first. If you click on one of these keywords, let's just do online storage, you can see all of the great different people that are pitching their offerings. We have Carbonite, Dropbox, SugarSync, Microsoft Azure, etc. You can get a great window into how all of these people are competing. Let's go ahead and view a full report of all related keywords. This is going to give you so many keyword opportunities, you're going to have work to do for months. If you want to try to target content to these particular keywords, you're going to have a ton of ideas here. If we scroll down, we can sort by related percentage, but that's going to get us some not that great keywords. We see here which online storage only has a volume of 10 and a very high keyword difficulty, so it's not that great. Experiment with this with your niche. Some of the sorting options will be better for one niche versus another. Let's sort by volume. This is going to get us the highest volume, the most search terms that are within this list of related keywords. Okay, Drive, Cloud, Cloud Storage, even Dropbox Free. These are all potentially very interesting targets. We also want to make good note of the keyword difficulty, which is how difficult it would be for us to compete over that, as well as the cost per click. If you just eyeball this, you'll see a ton of these very high volume terms are very difficult, but you can see some big discrepancies. Drive has a keyword difficulty of 85, but just a few spots down, Google Cloud Storage has a difficulty of 73. So right away you're seeing that that's a lot easier to rank for, although still difficult. Scrolling some more, you see Box Store at 63. This gives you a great sense, depending on how authoritative your website is, over the best highest search for, most expensive if you were to buy ads on them, keywords to try to target. Once you've looked at a ton of related possible keywords, scroll up and let's click on Ads History. This gives you a ton of really valuable insights into the paid advertising that the competitors in this niche are running. It also sorts it by date. So let's go straight to the end and let's see what this recent 2018 ad from Microsoft is in this online storage keyword. Let's click the ad. Right away, we see exactly what they're doing here. We see the copy, we see the link, everything. If you go back, you see, okay, they iterated. In January 2018, they had a slightly different ad. For example, here in the January 2018 ad, they tried get a $200 free credit. Later, they say create your free account today. So they're experimenting. First they thought, or at least earlier they thought, that the $200 specificity would drive customers. Then they thought, let's be a little more ambiguous. Maybe that particular deal ended, but let's just say a free account today. By looking at the progress of their experimentation, you can find out what will likely work the best for you. If Microsoft or whoever else decided to run with an ad for months and months and months after a lot of experimentation, that is the green light for you to hopefully do the same. We can look at the same data for other competitors. Here's Dropbox. They've iterated a ton, etc., etc. A whole bunch of competitor data we can look at. We also see the traffic, the price, and the keywords. There is a ton of great people working on fantastic copy, fantastic keywords, and getting a ton of money. This lets you see exactly what they're being paid to do, all with SEMrush. For more keyword insights, we can explore their new Keyword Magic tool. There's a little how it works section, but we can just use our online storage. I think the plus is fine. I'm just going to take that out. Do search. We're doing US only. And here we have a really nicely organized list of keywords, sections. So for example, we only want to see the stuff that includes free. So variations of free cloud storage, we can click that. Free online storage, free online photo storage, etc. We can see only the stuff with photos or auction or pay or India. This helps us narrow down common categories of keywords within our keyword. Scroll down, you see a ton of data. You can sort this. You can say of the things that are free, let's sort by keyword difficulty. Let's do that. The first result obviously is a very difficult keyword to rank for free, but as we go down the list, we see not everything is so difficult. Okay, free online storage shed plans. I don't know exactly what the shed refers to, and not that many people search for it, only 20, but if that means something to you and to your audience, that's a lot easier to rank for than the top one. There's also a rank tracker, so if you want to monitor how well your website is doing in the search results for particular terms. Let's say you made a piece of content covering free cloud storage, and you want to see, well, where does Google think that this should be in the results? Day to day, month to month, etc. You can enter your domain right here and get a play-by-play of the progress that you're making in these search results. All in all, SEMrush is a fantastic tool. It's going to hopefully save you a ton of time, a ton of money, a ton of heartache trying different ad copy that didn't work for your competitors, so probably wouldn't work for you, etc. I think it's great, and I hope you enjoy integrating it into your own workflow. Hello everyone. In this lecture, we're going to cover Rocket Reach. Rocket Reach is one of my absolute favorite tools for finding people's email addresses. So let's head on down to rocketreach.co/Udemy. If you are following along, you'll see that you can get 1 month free of Rocket Reach Silver Plan, which normally costs $99, completely free for Udemy people. I think this is a great way to try it out, see if it works well for you. I think it will. You can get a ton of work done in 1 month. So let's go ahead. I'm already signed up, so I won't be able to walk you through, but it's super simple. So if you want, start that now. When you're completed with the sign up process, just go to the main rocketreach.co site. Here's where the magic happens. You could put in almost anyone's name and find genuine, valid email contact information for them. I've had a great success rate with this. I don't know if perhaps it's different in other industries, but at least what I've searched for has almost always proven really, really good. So here I did the example of Mark Cuban, well-known billionaire, responds to emails notably. So when you punch in his name, you see, okay, Mark Cuban owner, you see one of his companies, you see his location, found 4 emails. Okay, let's do get contact info right away. We have a Gmail, we have a couple of corporate ones, Dallas Mavs, that looks promising, 9 more, click that. So what we notice here is we have 3 email addresses that have this green check mark. And we have other ones that have this orange sort of hold on, maybe graphic, and one that has an X. What this means is the green is much more likely to be a workable email address for Mark Cuban. So go ahead, you want to contact him, copy the Gmail one or the Dallas Mavs one. Sometimes you will only see the orange, and if you hover over it, you'll see it has a percentage chance right to the right. So this says, 20% chance this is his actual email address. If you want, you can also look up people in bulk, which is a very nice feature. If you head on over to bulk lookups at the top, you can upload a CSV. And the interesting thing is you can either put in the person's name and their company, or you can just put in LinkedIn URLs. So if you're compiling a bunch of people that you want to prospect, maybe you want to let them know about a service you're offering, maybe these are journalists who you want to pitch your brand new press release to, what have you, you can upload dozens at a time in one list, and it'll automatically come back with most of these people, hopefully his email address. LinkedIn charges a ton of money for their premium plans when you can send the in-mail or what have you. And you can only see people's LinkedIn email addresses without paying if you're friends with them, I believe, or connected. So I think this is a great alternative. It'll save you a ton of money. There's also an API for developers. If you go over here, this is for advanced users of the program who want to maybe open a Python script or what have you. And if these terms don't make sense, don't worry, it's not necessary at all. So you have 3 sort of gradations of sophistication. You can do one at a time emails with search, as easy as can be, bulk lookups, or API. Okay, let's say you have a brand new startup or a startup that just pivoted or has some other press-worthy news. How do you get your message to the media? I think a great way to do this is to find authors who have already covered similar topics. So let's head on over to the New York Times, for example. New York Times. Let's go to the business section. Okay, latest, breaking news. First one, coming down from iCloud. Let's click on that. Okay, we see this brand new article from the New York Times coming down from iCloud by J.D. Biersdorfer. Apologies if I mispronounced that. Let's say you have a similar service, you have the new iCloud competitor, and you want to pitch your article to J.D. Let's copy and paste his name, head on back to RocketReach. Okay. Here, right away, we see who this person is, staff editor at the New York Times. All right, we found 6 emails. Let's do get contact info. All right away, we see a few different names here. You're going to have to kind of use your judgment. Whether Jude at nytimes.com works, this is probably a person. I don't know if JD's first name is Jude, what have you. But in any event, we see 2 very promising, or 3 actually, The bottom 3 email addresses are very promising. One's a mac.com, one's a Gmail, and one is nytimes.com. I usually go for the corporate official company email, so if you want to pitch something to this person for publication in the New York Times, go ahead and use this last one, jbiersdorfer@nytimes.com. That's all you need to do. And right away, you can be in touch with an author that can put your business on the map. Okay, now let's take a look at RocketReach's bulk lookups feature. If you go up top here, click bulk lookups. You can either upload a CSV file, which is a simple spreadsheet. It stands for comma separated values. You can make that in Excel or LibreOffice, or you can just paste a list. This can just be from Notepad or anything you want. So let's try paste a list. This is for LinkedIn profile URLs. You can find a LinkedIn profile for almost anyone worth getting in touch with just by Googling for them or using LinkedIn's own search tool. I'm going to use the examples they suggest, although obviously you can use whichever people you want to find on LinkedIn. So we're going to look for Bill Gates and Marissa Mayer. Okay, just type this in, then do process list. Okay, so what this tells you is we have 2 rows. That means we need 2 email credits. It has our credit balance right here, and then we can just go scroll down. We can either re-upload the file if we want, download it, or go ahead and do verified data. Now that we verified it, we can go ahead and process it. You'll see right here the status. It finished rapidly, matched 2, and found 2. Great, so both of our contacts were a success. Let's do view contacts. And right here, we have Bill Gates and Marissa Mayer complete with various, hopefully working emails for both of them. We have a few for Marissa. We have one good one for Bill Gates. In any event, you can put in a huge prospecting list. It could be local businesses that you want to reach out to for joint ventures, authors, what have you. Go ahead and upload these lists and start making valuable, genuine relationships, all with RocketReach. I use a few different email finder tools, but RocketReach is really, really good when you absolutely need to find a particular person's email. It isn't the cheapest out there, so if you're really on a shoestring budget and you can only use one, then perhaps you'll go for one of the cheaper ones. I think the trade-off really is that I have found you get more emails more of the time with RocketReach. This lecture is all about Ahrefs. Ahrefs is a fantastic Facebook ads tool that lets you get the most bang for your buck out of Facebook ads. You don't need to be a fancy marketing agency to use it. You might even be able to fire your current one or refrain from hiring a new one, all with the help of Ahrefs. Now, of course, Facebook wants you to spend as much money as possible on their platform. Who could blame them? That's what almost any business wants. But what Ahrefs is going to do is use automation and data-intensive processes to minimize your ad spend while maximizing your return on investment. The company currently has a great 14-day free trial, no credit card required, at adespresso.com. So if you don't currently have an account, you can follow along by making a free trial. I'm already logged in and have an account at adespresso.com, so we're going to jump right into creating your first campaign. Go ahead and connect your Facebook account if you haven't already, and then you'll see this window where you can click this big Create Your First Campaign button. And what this is going to bring us to is a place where we can name our campaign. So let's just say Udemy campaign. The ad account that you're working with, this is going to default to the Facebook account that you've already integrated with Ahrefs. We're going to add any tags. Let's just say Udemy and testing. Now it starts getting good. We're going to say exactly what we want to promote and how we want to interoperate with the Facebook ads ecosystem. We can promote our own website, a Facebook page, or an app. Probably the most common use is a website, so that's the default. We don't need to click on anything. External website is automatically checked too. There's a whole bunch of different ad types with Facebook. You can do lead generation, which can capture something like someone's name, their phone number, their email, whatever you want to specify, all from within Facebook. You can do messenger ads, local ads, Instagram story, and brand awareness. I think external website is a great thing to start. But since external website is probably the most common, let's do that. Let's scroll down, proceed. This is where the magic begins. We're going to do something called split testing. And what split testing is creating slight variations on the same general theme of an advertisement to find out what maximizes your return on investment for your ad spend. If it costs $1,000 to get 150 qualified leads to your business, that's great. But if you can spend only $500 for the same quality of lead, that's obviously better. You can have 50 variations at a time. This will give you a lot of different options to change a word here, a word there. Whatever you think could be the difference between a click, a lead, whatever you're trying to target from your Facebook ads, you can test with these different variations. So let's do normal. Okay, for our first variation, let's come up with a headline. Great headline here. Then let's do the copy. It has the maximum character count that you can have for your copy, as well as for the headline, the same thing. It would be great if you clicked on this ad. What are the odds that's going to work? I don't know. I wouldn't use that copy for your ads. Here you can upload images, you can upload videos, you can design an ad right from here within Ad Espresso. This pops up Canva, which is a really easy, simple image manipulation tool. Let's close out of that. Here's the link target. This is the landing page that you want to direct people to. This could be yourname.com or .net or whatever you have, or hopefully you're having different landing pages for each offer type. So that doesn't necessarily mean each split tested ad will have a different landing page. But if you're selling cloud storage with one ad and the best free wallpaper with another ad, you're going to hopefully have different URL landing pages for each. You can also show how the link is going to be displayed. So what's the caption? What's it going to look like for people that view the ad? A link description. And here, very important, is a call to action. It can look like shop now, book now, learn more, sign up, download, etc. Pick the thing that most matches what you want people to do. If you have a newsletter, consider sign up. If you have an app, use app, install now, download, all of these make sense. These are part of what you can split test. So for your niche, it might be install now works best. It might be download. You'll find out with Ad Espresso when you test this out. Here's a preview. This is going to show you how it looks on different devices. You see the mobile, audience network, Instagram, etc. There's goal tracking. You can incorporate Google Analytics for even greater tracking. Google Analytics has a ton of data that will help you monitor the type and quality of lead you're getting. You can add extra options to your URL, different parameters if you're doing, for example, UTM parameters. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It's completely optional. You can track conversions with Facebook Pixels. So for example, let's say what your real goal is newsletter signups, but your ad just tells people to go to your website. Some people will go and sign up for your newsletter, some people won't. By using goal conversion tracking with Facebook's Pixel, you can drill down on the best converting people, which in this case would be actually signing up to your newsletter. Once you've configured this first part to your liking, go ahead and click Proceed. Now, we only put in a few little details for one variation. Obviously, if you want to take full advantage of Ahrefs and you're doing this with a real live campaign, you're going to want to have quite a few variations. You might not need all 50, but certainly you should have more than one. However, right now, we're just going through to see all the cool stuff you can do with the tool, so we're moving on to the audience section. This is the bread and butter of Facebook ads. I like to think of Google as targeting what you are thinking, whereas Facebook is targeting what type of person you are on the internet. So for example, if you're selling cloud storage, if you're using Google ads, it's obvious to just bid on cloud storage. However, those terms can be very expensive. If you use Facebook ads, you can try to maximize your ROI by looking at the type of people that would be most likely to buy cloud storage. Here you can try either a single audience or testing multiple audiences. You can target people by location. You can go really bird's eye view. You can do a whole country. You can do a city. You can do a zip code. You can get as localized as you want for the most part. You can target people based on gender. If you have something that statistically appeals much more to women or to men, go ahead and target to either one of them. You can target by age. Let's say you only want to target people between 25 and 45 years of age because all of your stats show these are the most likely to convert. You can go ahead and do that right here. Detailed targeting lets you drill down even further into your demographics. You can add behaviors, interests, demographics, or categories. You can decide whether someone should see your ad if they match all of the above targeting options you used or just any of the above. So for example, let's say you're an artist who makes music and you really want to target fans of 3 different other musicians. You can decide any fan of any of those 3 are good, or you can say if there's someone out there who's a big fan of all 3, that is my best person. I only want to target those types of people. You can add custom audiences, and what a custom audience is if you already have some engagement. If you already have particular users that have engaged with you, whether on or off of Facebook, and you have their Facebook, you can direct your advertising just to them. Do you have someone who's been in your pipeline for months and hasn't quite pulled the trigger on a sale? You can target an ad directly to that person to hopefully move him or her over the edge. You can drill down even further. You can target users who are connected to a particular page, whose friends are connected to a particular page, or conversely, people who are not already connected to a particular page. There's a ton of great options here. When you're done configuring all of this, just hit proceed. Once you've hit proceed, you now see an option to split test these ads. So right here it's suggesting we could split test based on gender, relationship status, and placement. Just with those 3 things clicked, that's going to be 50 different ads that it's going to split into. So let's check all 3 and do proceed again. Finally, this is where the budgeting comes in. You can have a lot or a little. If you just want to do $10 per day total, that is completely fine. If you want to start out right away with $500 per day, go right ahead. This lets you custom tailor your ad spend to your budget needs. If you want to split test slowly but surely with, say, $30 per day, and then once you find that magic ad that really converts, really maximizes your return on investment, you can always change the budget later. There's the start date. Do you want it to start today, tomorrow, 3 weeks from now, whatever you like? You can have it go on indefinitely until you shut it down yourself, or you can have a predefined end date. With optimization, you can either have Ahrefs automatically optimize your ads, or you can use rule sets that you've already defined. Here we're saying optimize for link clicks and pay for impressions using automatic bid. If you click on that, you can drill down further. You can say, how do you want your budget to be distributed? The default is proportionately based on ad set's audience size. We can further add a spend cap. We can change what we're going to optimize for. If you want to optimize for clicks, that's to your website, that's great, but maybe you only want to optimize for impressions. How many people saw your ad, whether or not they clicked? You can do all of that and more with this optimization tool, and that's going to help drill down and laser target the best ads for what your goals are, for what you're trying to optimize for. Here you can say, what do you want to pay for? Do you just want to pay for impressions? Do you want to pay for link clicks? This choice can save you a ton of money or cost you a ton of money. So experiment with this and find out what is the cheapest way to maximize your goals. Here you can decide to do an automatic bid, a custom bid that you directly pick, a suggested minimum bid, a median bid, and a maximum bid. This is all to help you define within your budget how you want your ads to appear in Facebook, if at all. If a bid isn't enough to appear on Facebook for a particular demographic, it won't appear. If it's only enough to appear for a subset of that demographic, it'll appear for that. This helps you maximize your return on investment while not going over budget. Additionally, you can define rule sets for your ads. Let's go on over to Tools at the top, Optimization Rules. If we do Create New Set, this lets us create new rules for particular ads. We can say, for example, if the given ad has a CPC, that's cost per click, greater than a particular amount, then do this. We could say pause it. We can say increase the bid, decrease the bid. Whatever you want the automation tools to do on your behalf right when it notices a particular result. We can change this from CPC and we can say, okay, do something when a particular ad has a particular amount of clicks, a particular amount of ad spend, return on investment, conversion. All of these things let you predefine in advance what this automation tool is going to do on your behalf. If you want only a certain amount of people to click on your ad and then you want to shut it down, maybe you only have the capacity for so many jobs in your local area. You can define that right here. Maybe you only want to run ads if they're getting a certain amount of return on investment, below which it's not worth it to run an ad. You can do that right here. Let's say a particular ad is getting a fantastic return on investment. Maybe you want to add to the spend, double down on your efforts. Let's say a particular ad isn't doing so well, but it's not so poor that you want to pause it. You can decrease the spend. All these amazing things and more can be done programmatically with Ahrefs. It is a fantastic tool to help streamline and automate your Facebook ad campaigns. A really popular, really well-made email finding tool is called hunter.io. Let's go ahead and go to that site right now. I love Hunter because it really does a lot for a little money. If you go on over to the pricing tab, you'll see you have a free plan that gets you 100 emails every single month, which is a great value. If you want to pay for their starter plan, $49 a month, it gets you 1,000 emails. So this is a really good price for some stuff that's really valuable for your business. Okay, let's go back to the main site. This main site is for if you want to have a company mention you. Let's say you really want to get your startup in TechCrunch. You can go ahead and type in just the domain. See, it automatically completes. So let's do techcrunch.com. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull up the emails that it has found most commonly, most likely to be working. So let's see, okay. We've got this first email, verified, verified, verified. It has this check mark. What you're going to see up top here is the most common pattern that Hunter has identified for the different formats. A very big company like a bank or the like will often strictly follow this pattern more or less. Smaller startups can have, just a first name for someone very important, a first and a last name for later hires, etc., etc. But this pattern is nice for getting a feel for how most, or at least the plurality, work. To the right of each person's email, you can see where Hunter is getting this information from. So right here we see 10 sources on this first one, and this gives you the different websites that have used this person's email address just as it's stated here. I find that that's helpful because if a ton of sources are using that email, especially if one of those sources is the person themselves, that's really good evidence that this is a worthwhile email. Now, of course, you don't have to do a scattershot approach. Anyone at TechCrunch, if you want to find someone in particular, you can drill down and find a particular person at TechCrunch. I'm just going to show you, I'm sure it'll find it because it's right here in the all-encompassing search, but just to show you what it looks like, we're going to put this guy, John, right here, just to show you what it's going to look like. It's going to be very similar. Okay. Found him 8 times on the web. An interesting thing here is it talks about when a particular email address is removed from a page. So perhaps the whole page was deleted or it was just modified to remove that email. So we see there's only 1 page remaining out of the total of 8 times it was at one point published. And we see that page is from 2016. So, okay, that's already a few years old. Do people change their email addresses that often? No, probably not, but it's something to keep in mind. Okay, if we scroll up, if you go to Finder, this takes us basically to that same thing we just did if you want a particular person at a particular company rather than a scattershot approach. Verifier is very useful if you have an email address that you think is accurate but you're not quite sure. You can go ahead and use this verifier tool to double check and get Hunter's take on whether or not this is valid. Let's give this a try. Let's say not likely real at techcrunch.com, then go over to verify. Okay, what does this say? Risky email address. This email address cannot be verified with certitude. It says confidence score 72%. Okay, so what does that really mean? Well, if we go over to email status, it's saying accept all. So what that's saying is this is an email address that you can make up any old thing you want and it'll probably accept it and redirect it to some catch-all address that maybe, every now and then someone will check. But the important thing is to note, it says it's a risky email address and the confidence score is below my personal favorite threshold of 80%. It also says, as expected, we couldn't find this email address publicly available on the web. No one's mentioning this on a blog post, etc. So this is not a good candidate for your list. There's a bulk upload. There's a section where you can find email addresses in bulk. You can upload a whole bunch of domains. You can verify people's email address. You can find the email addresses of a whole bunch of people from a list of names and companies. This is all very good if you're going through, say, news articles about a similar niche to what your startup is in or your website or other service. You can find a ton of people, put them all in a list, and quickly upload them. If you click Email Finder, New Bulk, you can give this a name, May articles about cloud storage, whatever you like. And you can upload a CSV file with first name, last name, or just a full name in one column, as well as the domain name. And this will get you a whole bunch of emails. The Leads tab will let you sort of make almost a mini CRM. You can put a whole bunch of leads in this. If you already have your prospects information, so, okay, Elon Musk, we put his first name, his last name, his position, we pick a list and we create it. This will get us better organized, put all of our leads in one place, It is not necessary, but some people find it helpful for organization. Also, the outreach section. This allows you to integrate with Gmail if you want to put your work, your outreach, your prospecting emails all in one place. What this is going to do is it'll track it to see if someone opened the email, it'll track it to see if they clicked on a link that you might have sent in the email, and it'll also show you how many times the email was viewed. It might not always work. Some people have, ad blockers and the like that interfere with this, but it is really interesting when you see, okay, my business proposal was looked at 15 times. That's a pretty good sign. With Hunter, you can do a whole lot for free. You can do a whole lot more for a little more money. It really is a good thing to try. I find that all of these email tools will be great for some names, not so great for others, so you really want to have 2 or 3 so that you can always get in touch with the people that you want to reach out to, or if not always, most of the time. So if you're on a shoestring budget, you want to put these email addresses and names into Hunter first. I think there's a good chance that you'll get a good result for not that much money. This lecture is going to focus on a competitive intelligence tool called Ahrefs. We've talked about Ahrefs on this Udemy channel before, but it bears mentioning again because it is so helpful. My favorite use of it is for finding the links that your competitors have going to their website. So let's go ahead. Let's go to ahrefs.com. Okay, the first step is to punch in the domain of a competitor or other company of interest that you want to drill down on and see what they're doing with search engine marketing. Let's do neilpatel.com as an example. This is a very famous marketer who has a ton of links to his site and other important stuff worth looking at. So we're going to search. Okay, right away we see neilpatel.com has a domain rating, that's an Ahrefs proprietary score, of 88. That's fantastic. The best you can do is 100. The English section of Wikipedia has, I think, a 96. So you're really, really doing well when you start seeing 88. To the right, you see Neil Patel gets an Ahrefs estimate of $1.9 million in free traffic from Google, comprised of 820,000 or so different viewers. And this is all per month. My favorite section is right here, referring domains. And this refers to the links back to neilpatel.com that he has earned over the years. So the difference between backlinks and referring domains is you might have 12 different links from one different site. This organizes it by site. So if we click on this, I like to go over here and do link type do follow. A do follow link is one that carries sort of an endorsement in Google's eyes. A no follow link, on the other hand, tells search engines, hey, we're not really vouching for this. So go ahead and do follow most of the time. And then the default sorting is by how many different do follow links they've accumulated. I don't think this is particularly helpful. Once you start getting, thousands and thousands of links, there's a real diminishing returns to that. So let's go ahead and sort by Ahrefs rank. That's a more granular look at a domain's value with each one having its own number. So right here we see the best link that Neil Patel has that's marked do follow, or rather is not marked no follow, is a 94 from w3.org. He has one. If you click on this one section here in backlinks, it'll actually tell you the particular page that's linking to him and the context surrounding that link. Okay, it's W3C in the press. Web accessibility moving toward the norm. Okay, great. Sometimes you'll see social sites like Reddit. These have so many different people participating that it's not that hard to get some links from something like Reddit, although if there's millions of different posts on a site like Reddit, and you're just one link out of many, there is some diminishing returns on that too. However, I love seeing this. New York Times, 17. These are some fantastic links. What you want to do here is if you have a competing product, a competing service, go on over, pull this open, and you can start seeing the authors that are going to be hopefully the most receptive to a similar pitch for a similar service. You can go ahead and find these authors, their page, give them a genuine compliment if you like their article, and then suggest your product or service for consideration for a future article. You can also see the various statistics on these subpages, how many referring domains they in turn get, how many keywords they rank for, etc. Another cool thing you can do at the top, if you go on to the alerts section, you can start adding an alert so that if your competitor gets a new backlink, you are one of the first to know. So if you're a small startup and you have one or two big competitors, go ahead, put in an alert for both of their domains, and that way, as soon as some press release comes out or some coverage happens to come their way and you're not in that article, that is a fantastic opportunity for you to go ahead and reach out right while the author's thinking about the subject and pitch your case for why you should be in either that article as part of an edit or in a future article along those same lines. Content Explorer is similar. I really love it. What that can do is you can punch in any sort of topic you want. Let's say cloud storage. And you can choose if you want this to come from anywhere or just in the title. So the title of the article mentions your key phrases, or in the content. I think anywhere is fine for this. Punch this orange button. And here we have all of the hottest, most viral pages talking about cloud storage. You can see how many Twitter shares, how many Facebook shares, how many Pinterest, the total, the median, all this good stuff to identify what is working well in this niche. Now you'll see the first two aren't really articles, they're just very widely shared pages on Google's site. But once you start scrolling down, you'll see, okay, these are people I can pitch. The Register, that's a big site in the UK. This is talking about Amazon's cloud storage offering. You'll see that this is a domain rating 90 site, which refers again to theregister.co.uk's authority on the web. This is a great article. If you want to pitch them your own cloud storage competitor, go ahead and add them to the list. If you start scrolling down, you'll see YouTube videos that went viral, blogging tips, etc. This is a who's who of the people writing popular, viral articles on the very topics that you specify. So you can get a lot of great prospecting done with this. You can edit it. You can say, I only want, a minimum domain rating of 50, a minimum number of shares, etc. You can say, I only want, the last year articles, the last month, etc. Keywords Explorer is another great part of Ahrefs. You can put in whatever keywords you like. Let's say cloud storage again to be consistent. Press the orange button. We see a few really cool things. We see the keyword difficulty, which is an estimate of how hard it would be to rank in the top 10 for this keyword. 80 is very difficult. You're probably not going to get there without a serious budget. We see the estimated search volume, the estimate of clicks, and the estimate global volume. Search volume just refers to the US. We also see a parent topic, cloud, just writing about the cloud. That has a higher search volume, and we also have other ideas right here. Best cloud storage, that might be easier to rank for. It has fewer people searching for it, but that's the trade-off. Easier to rank for a lot of the time means fewer results, less competitive. We have other suggestions. What is cloud storage? Best cloud storage 2018, etc. If you scroll down, you see a preview of what you would get if you actually went into Google. But instead of just going to Google, you see very crucial data such as the referring domains, the backlinks, the traffic, etc. So it is going to be pretty difficult to overtake Google's cloud storage when they have over 45,000 backlinks from over 6,000 domains. But if you scroll down, maybe that 10th place, cloudwords.net, maybe that's doable. Only 34 detected referring domains. Maybe you one day could be the 10th place if you have a cloud storage startup. There is a ton you can do with Ahrefs. We did a whole course on it, but these are some highlights that I think will get you a lot of bang for your buck. In this lecture, we're going to cover a really great email finder tool called Voila Norbert. So let's go ahead, go to voilanorbert.com. You can get 50 leads for free, as you can see right here, just to try it out, see if it works well in your niche. I already have an account, so I'm going to go to login. Okay, it remembers me. One thing I love about Voila Norbert is that it really is inexpensive, but it provides a lot of value. So let's go ahead and give a try for Bill Gates. We're putting the first and the last name. You can experiment whether it should be William or Bill. Essentially, do you want to use the person's nickname or full name? Try them both if the first one doesn't work well for you. Now, he is doing most of his work out of the Gates Foundation these days, so you're going to put in the domain, and it already has it right here, auto-completed. So let's click on gatesfoundation.org, and then click Go Ahead Norbert. Boom. bill.gates@gatesfoundation.org. If you hover over this, you'll see we are pretty certain on this one, about 97%. I find these are pretty helpful. If you send a lot of emails to people that have much lower percentages, you're going to start running into problems where people are going to say, hey, maybe this is spammy, you don't really have the right person's email, what have you. So pay attention to these. I think 80% and above is kind of a okay rule of thumb. My workflow tends to be try one of the cheaper ones first. Oftentimes you'll find it, Voila Norbert has a really good deal in terms of how much you're paying, whether per email or in their bulk buying plans. So go ahead and give it a try on this one. A lot of the time you're going to get what you want. We've just seen the manual one at a time section. You can also upload a CSV in bulk by clicking right over here under prospecting bulk. So here you can have a whole bunch of names. Maybe you want Bill Gates, Marissa Meyer, dozens and dozens of emails. That's all fine. If you want a handy list of all the people that you've previously looked up, you can go straight to contacts. All right. There's also a nice feature called verify. This is when you think you have an email address for someone, but you're not really sure. You can upload a whole bunch of these email addresses, and for a very low cost, okay, what does it say? $0.003 per email, up to $500,000. This will easily tell you whether it thinks these are valid email addresses. I find that if you're using the prospecting at first, you might not have a lot of need to verify it, but you might have a different setup. Integrations, this works well if you want to put it straight into a CRM or the like, but enrichment is when you can do more than just add email addresses. You can put in email lists that you already have, and what it's going to do is it's going to find additional information to help personalize your outreach efforts. It can look up job title, employer, location, and social networks of the person behind the email you are verifying. It might not always find each of these things, but a good amount of the time you're going to get a lot of extra useful data from this section. You can upload a file or just copy and paste the email addresses right here. I love using Voila Norbert. I think it provides a really good value for the money, and I think you'll enjoy it too. So go ahead, use those 50 free email lookups, and hopefully integrate it into your workflows.